Zaldrizes buzdaris gosdau.
That's the next thing coming, is another House of the Dragon Game of Thrones show set in that universe. I cannot literally be any more excited than I am right now. So in this video, I'm going to talk about potentially whether HBO is going to nix and kill all these shows, like maybe they did that with the Jon Snow show, or are they going to keep them and they're just trying to get them perfect before they officially announce the news of them. Please do me a massive favor. Slap a like on this video. Like goal is going to be 420. And then also, this is the most crucial important part. If you slap a like, you probably like me enough to subscribe. Please do so. Please subscribe to me here on YouTube, and then turn your notifications all the way on. Lot 211. Lot Spinal Tap reference. Like, there's all personalized and none. And if you are subscribed and you have all notifications turned on, you'll probably get alerted every single time I drop a video. Throughout the wait for House of the Dragon Season 2, throughout the wait for the Jon Snow show, throughout the wait for A Song of Ice and Fire series that will be coming out, and ultimately the Winds of Winter, as it's known on this channel, the Long Night, Zaldrizas Pusdari, Ixos, Bulik, Daor. Question that's on everyone's mind. Like, I made a video on the lack of news of the announcement of the Jon Snow show, and I proposed the question, is it canceled? I personally think no. The only reason why I'm confident in saying that is because why would you not be allowed to ask questions about a hypothetical series that doesn't exist? When HBO told everybody that went to the convention last weekend that they can't ask questions about this Jon Snow sequel series, they unknowingly or knowingly confirmed it, right? They confirmed that it's a thing. It's likely still in production, hoping to be greenlit into the, filming phase soon. They just want to wait to announce that. I've been sent rumors through the DMs over on Twitter, speaking of which, make sure you go follow me there, and on Instagram at sir_hunts_reviews. It's linked down below in the description. But a person sent me the leak. They've sent me a few reliable things in the past, but they mentioned that the official announcement for the Jon Snow show being in production and starting filming will come out in July of 2023, so just in about 6 months, they're going to officially announce it, and they won't start filming until the end of the year, well after House of the Dragon has concluded their filming for Season 2, and that's the reason why they've switched it around. So, yes, HBO, or the higher-ups in particular, Warner Brothers Discovery, have been cutting movies, TV shows left and right. They'll film the entire thing, spend all this money on it, and just nix it, right? And then most recently, as of today, as of last night, right, we had Henry Cavill being called back in for the Superman role. He went and met with James Gunn and this other dude, and James Gunn was like, look, he's rebooting the DC EU, which is amazing. I'm a big Superman, Batman fan. I mean, my cat's named Batman, right? But as of right now, we're focusing on a younger Superman and reestablishing the DC universe, right? So they're wiping the slate clean kind of thing, right? So that leads me, into answering this question. Ultimately, they're cutting projects that are bleeding money from them. Game of Thrones, regardless of how you think Season 8 was perceived, I think most people could find some flaw in Season 8, right? Regardless of all of that, HBO has never lost money with Game of Thrones. Now they've had this prequel series come out, House of the Dragon, and again, they have never lost money. So in short, everything related to A Song of Ice and Fire, George R. R. Martin, and the contract that he has with HBO in the Game of Thrones cinematic universe, so to speak, is safe. It's safe as hell. Put the money in the projects that are confident in working, right? So that brings me to Henry Cavill, right? I was just mentioning him and about how he got fired, so to speak, kind of. What if he's brought in? A lot of people think, I don't personally think this, but a lot of people think that he would make a good Robert's Rebellion. Like a younger version of Robert Baratheon. So he'd be a younger version of Mark Addy. And I don't know if people know this, but Robert's Rebellion is about 15 years before the events of the main series. Henry Cavill would be amazing in the A Song of Ice and Fire universe. Hugh Hammer for House of the Dragon, Aegon the Conqueror, Orys Baratheon if you want to do the Seven Kingdoms kind of thing. He would perfectly play a role like that. Obviously, he'd be a good Aegon himself, but I don't think he would be a good version of Robert Baratheon. You all let me know what you think. Everybody watching this down below in the comment section. But you got to realize that it's 15 years before the events of Game of Thrones. So this would be, he went from Henry Cavill to Mark Addy in 15 years, right? And then also, you got to realize, when we hear Robert through Ned's eyes, right, through Ned's POVs in a Game of Thrones, and then you hear other characters talk about Robert, you get this larger-than-life personality. Like, Robert himself mentions how strong he was to Ned, how he can't believe that he's allowed himself to sort of get into this terrible fat body and no longer this imposing, powerful figure that he was in his youth, right? So, much like with every single Song of Ice and Fire character, the POV or the person in question's image of themselves is not factual, right? So Daenerys very much sees herself as this savior, this person who's bringing back dragons into the world. She's claiming her birthright, which is the Iron Throne. She thinks that people, well, she doesn't think, but she slightly entertains the idea that there will be some people that will flock to her banners when she gets to Westeros, right? She mentions how her brother Viserys was a fool in thinking that everyone's just going to corral around him, but she kind of has this mental image of herself, and she's starting to realize, but she hasn't quite realized yet, that she was not going to be perceived that way in coming into Westeros. She's going to have this army of savages behind her, these 3 massive, untamed dragons, aside from Drogon, right? And she's going to be wreaking havoc in Westeros. So the small folk, the citizens of Westeros, are going to see her as this tyrant, this monster who's come across the Narrow Sea to wreak fire and blood on the 7 kingdoms. And guess what? She's not even from Westeros, right? So that's kind of like how Robert sees himself. And that's why fans, mostly the TV show, who haven't read the books, think someone like Henry Cavill would be a good actor to play a younger version of him. No, in all actuality, Robert was an imposing figure. Robert was super strong, but he's just like a younger version of Mark Addy. Next potential, spin-off that I want to discuss is the Doom of Valyrian. I probably won't spend as much time talking about this, right? So this one would be amazing, right? You have the opportunity to have an amazingly diverse cast, right? In particular, the show would probably focus, if I had to guess, on the years surrounding the Doom, like leading up to it. But there could potentially be flashbacks, or maybe every season skips a few hundred years with a new cast of characters coming in. And the Valyrians were messing with powers that were beyond their control, and men should have never tamed dragons. And the idea, in fact, that they tamed dragons is an illusion. Dragons are creatures more intelligent than people themselves, and they can never be controlled or tamed. And that would be a really interesting spinoff. And then another one, right? Jon Snow, Daenerys, right? Now I'm talking about the Jon Snow show and the potential of it a bunch now. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but just think about it, right? So Daenerys is being taken back to, her body, rather, her corpse is being taken back to Volantis, probably going to be resurrected. And then when she gets resurrected, she probably, and this is just an idea that just came to me while I was in the process of brainstorming for this video, she probably will be advised to not necessarily go back to Westeros so quickly. She has Drogon, right? But that's it. She needs to build an army. She needs to mount a proper attack to go and take back her birthright, the Iron Throne, and break the wheel and put herself in power, right? Maybe someone in the Volantis, they're known as shadow priests, right? They're known to be servants of her lord. Maybe one of them suggests to her, hey, send a shadow baby, right, to go and kill Breanne. Now, how would that work? The only way it worked before is, we would assume, and it's not exactly mentioned, right? But basically, in the TV show, they made it so that Stannis has sex with Melisandre, impregnates her, and that impregnation becomes the shadow baby. In the books, really all we have to go off of, because we don't have any POVs from Stannis, and then the Melisandre POV that we get is in the Dance with Dragons, and Stannis is already gone from the wall. He's gone to go take Winterfell, right? He's already left the wall. When Davos sees Stannis, he looks half dead. Even from a short trip they take from Dragonstone to Storm's End, Stannis looks half dead. So Melisandre stole a part of his essence, created a shadow of him, and then that shadow went out and destroyed Renly. And then the same thing happens where Sir Courtney Penrose, right? So Stannis wants to take Storm's End and then march to King's Landing, and Courtney Penrose is held up in there with one of Robert Baratheon's bastards, right? Edric Dane, right? So, Edric, Storm, so Stannis uses another shadow baby to kill that character, Courtney Penrose, and that's actually what we saw in the TV show, where the shadow baby that's created to kill Renly, that's actually Courtney Penrose in the books, right? So what I'm getting at here is, maybe it's a male fire priest who, does the deed with Daenerys, takes a part of her essence and takes to making a shadow baby to go kill Breanne, and this is how the show comes back. Okay, and then lastly, the last two things that I think are on the docket are a Blackfire rebellion, right? And I've explained the Blackfire before, but the idea is very similar to the theme of the House of the Dragon show, minus the dragons, right? So there's all these heirs who want to make a legitimate claim on the Iron Throne, right? Some of the characters, mainly Bloodraven and Walder Frey. Walder Frey is a little child in the story, but Bloodraven is very much still alive. He's the three-eyed crow that's calling Breanne north of the wall. So what I'm getting at here is potentially the Blackfire Rebellion series could set up that storyline with Breanne and Jon Snow and the Night King show, and then also you got the animated potential to do really anything. Like, I honestly think Nymeria's 10,000 Ships or the Doom of Valyria, those shows about like that far back in history would work better as an animated series. Big shout out to my boy Jay Fox. He's the one who painted that painting over there. But thank you for watching. Please consider checking out my Patreon if you want more content. I upload there very frequently. I recently had a bunch of people leave there, but that has not deterred me from uploading content. Now I can actually upload videos there. So please go and check that out if you want a little bit something extra, and you can join for as little as $1. Special shout out to the North Must Remember, Heart of Inspiration, and Breanne Johnson. They're all members of my Dragon Knight tier. A special thank you to you for watching. If you can't join any of that, thank you for doing this, which is just watching this video. Along that, Zeltrizas postare, Ixos, Daor.